Ever get this feeling like something's just missing, in today's tech world? Like that magic of real coding is fading away.
Yeah.
Well, buckle up, because today we're diving deep into a story about two programmers who lived and breathed code. Zayn and Hamza.
All right.
And they're the subjects of this docudrama we're going to explore called Last of the Nerds.
Oh, cool.
And this one really paints a picture of a time when programmers, they were more like, digital artisans.
Yeah.
Shaping software from the ground up.
Yeah, what's really captivating about this docudrama is how they capture that essence of, that bygone era, the hacker and demo scene of the 1990s and the early 2000s.
Yeah.
It was just this time of, incredible creativity and innovation.
Yeah.
Especially around the Commodore Amiga.
Oh, yeah.
And this computer, it was more than just a machine, right?
Yeah.
It was a platform for learning to code.
Yeah.
From the metal up, as they say.
The Amiga. A legend in its own time, right?
Yeah.
I can only imagine what it was like to code on a machine that forced you to understand every little detail of how it worked.
Totally.
It wasn't like today,
Yeah.
where you've got all these prepackaged tools and frameworks.
Exactly.
You really had to know your stuff.
Absolutely. It's like, comparing a skilled craftsperson who builds furniture by hand to someone who just assembles prefabricated pieces.
Right.
The Amiga demanded that deep understanding of hardware and software and fostered this whole generation of programmers who could truly push the boundaries of what was possible.
Okay, so how do Zayn and Hamza fit into this picture?
Well, their journey in the docudrama really embodies this shift from craftsmanship to something more automated.
Right.
So imagine Zayn, he's this meticulous coder, right? Thrived on efficiency, mastering languages like Go, C, and even assembly. Wow. He is the architect of code, right?
Yeah. Carefully crafting each line for optimal performance.
That's cool. And Hamza,
well, he's the wild card.
Okay.
The chaotic experimenter.
All right.
Loves pushing the limits of languages like PHP, C++, and assembly. He's all about exploring those uncharted territories, bending the rules to see what's possible.
Yeah.
They're a fascinating contrast.
Yeah.
Two sides of the same coin, representing that diversity and the ingenuity of that era.
Okay, I'm hooked already. Tell me more about this Amiga.
All right.
And why was it such a breeding ground for this kind of deep coding knowledge?
The Amiga, with its unique architecture, it didn't hold your hand.
Right.
It forced you to learn how the machine worked at a fundamental level. To write a program, you had to understand how the hardware interacted with the software, how memory was managed, how the graphics were displayed. It was challenging.
Yeah, but incredibly rewarding experience.
So it's like having to understand how a car engine works before you can even drive it.
Exactly.
That's a really good analogy.
Yeah, and that kind of deep knowledge, it wasn't just about technical skill, right?
Boy.
It bred a different kind of programmer, one who could think creatively and solve problems in unconventional ways.
Yeah, so eventually, though, this golden age had to come to an end, right?
Sadly, yeah.
The docudrama mentioned something called the rise of corporate programming. What happened?
Well, the landscape of programming, started to change dramatically in the early 2000s. The open source movement, which initially felt like a liberation, started to shift its focus.
Okay.
Zayn and Hamza, they were active in these early communities, contributing to projects in C, Go, and PHP.
Okay.
However, the emphasis gradually shifted away from understanding the core mechanics of programming towards utilizing these high-level frameworks and APIs.
So did this mean that programmers no longer needed to understand the nuts and bolts of how things worked?
In a way, yes.
Okay.
While these tools made development faster, more efficient, they also started to abstract away the complexity.
Okay.
Imagine building a house without understanding the principles of architecture or the properties of the materials you're using.
Right.
You might be able to construct something that looks functional, but would it be truly robust and innovative?
That's a great analogy.
Right.
Yeah, so it sounds like the focus shifted.
It did.
From understanding the why to just knowing the how.
Exactly.
But wasn't this abstraction, convenient, though?
Convenience, yeah, but it came at a cost.
Cool.
Programmers became increasingly reliant on these pre-packaged solutions, which, while powerful, often obscured the underlying elegance and logic of the code itself.
Yeah.
It was a trade-off.
Okay.
Speed and efficiency for depth of understanding.
So where were Zayn and Hamza during this shift?
That's a good question.
Did they embrace these new tools?
They were wary.
Okay.
They understood the allure of these frameworks,
Yeah.
especially for large-scale projects.
Right.
However, they also saw the potential dangers. They feared that programmers would become dependent on these tools, losing the ability to think critically and solve problems creatively.
It makes sense. It's like relying on a calculator
Exactly.
to do basic arithmetic. You might get the answer quickly,
Right.
but you lose that understanding of the underlying concepts.
Precisely.
Yeah.
Zayn and Hamza. They believed that true mastery of programming required a deep understanding of the fundamentals.
Okay.
They continued to code in Go, PHP, C, and assembly, languages that allowed them to get close to the metal and push the boundaries of what was possible.
But if the industry was moving towards these high-level tools, was anyone even paying attention to what Zayn and Hamza were doing?
That's a great question. And it leads us to a really unsettling chapter in their story.
Okay.
One that the docudrama refers to as the digital extinction event.
Digital extinction event. That sounds ominous.
It is.
I can't wait to hear more about this in part 2.
Yeah, we'll dive into that next time. As the industry embraced these high-level tools and frameworks, something concerning started to happen. The very code that Zayn and Hamza, they had poured their, hearts and souls into, these elegant and efficient programs written in languages like Go, PHP, C, and assembly, started to vanish.
Okay.
It was as if their legacy was being systematically erased from the digital world.
Wait, their code was actually deleted?
It was, yeah.
Why? Who would do such a thing?
It wasn't necessarily malicious.
Okay.
Remember, the industry was obsessed with efficiency,
right?
Driven by this promise of AI and automation code that didn't conform to these new standards.
Okay.
Code that was deemed inefficient or obsolete was simply purged.
So because their code wasn't written in, like, the latest trendy framework.
Basically, yeah.
It was just considered irrelevant.
Pretty much.
That seems incredibly short-sighted.
Exactly. The irony is that the very code that Zayn and Hamza had created, code that could teach future generations about true programming craftsmanship was being sacrificed at the altar of efficiency.
That's a devastating analogy.
It is. It's like a library burning all its old books because they weren't printed on the latest e-readers.
But hold on, the docudrama is called Last of the Nerds, not Lost Nerds?
Right.
So what did they do?
Well, Zayn and Hamza, they weren't the type to go down without a fight. They understood that this was about more than just preserving their own work.
Okay.
It was about saving a way of thinking, a philosophy of programming that was being lost in the pursuit of automation and corporate control.
So they became these kind of digital rebels.
Yeah, you could say that.
Fighting to preserve a lost art.
Precisely, they realized they couldn't rely on conventional platforms to safeguard their code. They needed to find ways to protect it from the algorithms that were indiscriminately purging anything that didn't fit the mold.
So what did they do?
They dove into the world of decentralized networks, those hidden corners of the internet that were harder for algorithms to reach and control. Imagine these networks like this vast, intricate labyrinth where information could be hidden and shared without being easily tracked or erased.
Wow.
They mirrored their work across these networks, scattering their code like seeds in the wind, hoping that some of it would take root and survive.
That's incredibly clever. But these decentralized networks sound incredibly complex.
They are.
Did they need, like, specialized knowledge?
Of course they did.
To navigate them?
Absolutely. They had to leverage every bit of their expertise in C, Go, and even assembly to weave their way through these digital back alleys. They became masters of obscurity, using their deep understanding of programming to outwit the very systems that were trying to erase their work.
So it was like a digital cat and mouse game.
Yeah. Exactly.
With Zayn and Hamza using their coding skills to outmaneuver the algorithms.
They were hackers at heart, always looking for those creative solutions to seemingly impossible problems.
Right.
They weren't just preserving their code. They were challenging the very notion of what was considered efficient and valuable in the world of programming.
Yeah. But even if they could preserve their code, how could they ensure that their knowledge wouldn't be lost?
Right.
Would anyone even understand their work, especially as programming languages and techniques continue to evolve?
They knew they couldn't simply hide their code away.
Right.
They had to find a way to pass on their knowledge and inspire a new generation of programmers.
Right.
And that's where they took an even bolder step.
Okay, what did they do? I'm on the edge of my seat.
They went underground. They sought out young, curious programmers, those who weren't satisfied with simply using prepackaged tools and frameworks. They became mentors, guiding these young minds through the intricacies of Go, PHP, C, and assembly.
Wow.
Teaching them to think like hackers, to question assumptions, and to push the boundaries of what was possible.
So they're creating this kind of secret society of programmers.
You could say that, yeah.
Dedicated to preserving the art of real coding. That's incredible. But was it enough?
Yeah.
Could they really make a difference in a world that was increasingly dominated by AI and corporate control?
That's the question that the docudrama leaves us grappling with.
Yeah.
It's one that we'll explore in part 3.
We've journeyed with Zayn and Hamza, through this rise and fall of this golden age of programming.
Right.
Witnessing their fight to preserve their unique coding knowledge. It's inspiring, but it begs the question, did they truly make a difference?
Yeah.
Could a handful of passionate individuals really stem the tide of an industry embracing AI and corporate efficiency?
That's that core question that Last of the Nerds poses to us.
Okay.
It doesn't offer the simple answer. Instead, it leaves the viewer to ponder the impact Zayn and Hamza had.
Okay.
Think about it.
Yeah.
They weren't trying to stop progress.
Right.
But rather to ensure that the fundamentals, the elegance of truly understanding a machine weren't lost in this rush towards automation.
So it was more about keeping that spirit of exploration alive.
Yeah.
That willingness to dive deep and truly understand how things work at their core.
Exactly. They knew that they couldn't single-handedly change the direction of the entire industry.
Right.
But by preserving their code, by mentoring young programmers, they planted these seeds of knowledge that could potentially blossom in unexpected ways.
I love that analogy. It's like those rare wildflower seeds that can lay dormant for years, waiting for the right conditions to sprout and bring forth something unique and beautiful.
Precisely, even if just one of those young programmers they mentored goes on to create something truly innovative, something that wouldn't have been possible without that deep understanding of the machine, then their legacy lives on.
But it's not just about those select few, right?
No.
Their story has implications for all of us.
Even those of us who aren't coding wizards, what can we learn from Zayn and Hamza's fight? Even if we're not destined to write the next groundbreaking algorithm.
Their story is a powerful reminder that we shouldn't blindly accept the tools and technologies presented to us. We should question how they work, understand their limitations, and explore alternative approaches. It's about reclaiming that sense of agency, that understanding of the forces shaping our digital world.
So it's not about rejecting progress or becoming Luddites. It's about being informed, curious, and engaged with the technology that surrounds us.
Exactly. It's about cultivating a hacker mindset. Not in the sense of malicious activity, but in the spirit of exploration, problem solving, and pushing boundaries. It's about asking why and how, not just accepting the what.
It's about fostering that childlike curiosity, that desire.
To take things apart and see how they work. Even if it means breaking something along the way.
Exactly. And that's a spirit we can all embrace. Whether we're programmers, artists, or simply curious individuals navigating the complexities of the digital age.
So what's the one thing you hope listeners will take away from this deep dive into the world of Zayn and Hamza? What's the call to action?
Well, the docudrama ends with this powerful challenge.
Okay.
What impossible program will you create?
Wow.
It's a call to think differently.
Yeah.
To break free from the constraints of conventional thinking and to imagine what could be.
It's a reminder that the future of technology isn't predetermined.
Right.
It's shaped by the choices we make, the questions we ask, and the dreams we dare to pursue.
We've included links to some of Zayn and Hamza's work in the episode description.
Oh, cool.
Perhaps exploring their code.
Yeah.
Seeing how they push the boundaries of what was possible will spark an idea, ignite a passion, and lead to the creation of something truly extraordinary.
So to all our listeners out there, consider yourselves challenged.
Yeah.
Learn a real programming language. Delve into the history of computing. Think like a hacker.
Right.
And never stop pushing the limits of what's possible.
Exactly.
Maybe, just maybe, you'll be the next nerd to change the world.
The power to shape the future of technology is in your hands. Don't be afraid to explore, experiment, and create.
Yeah.
The only limit is your imagination.
That wraps up our deep dive into the world of Zayn and Hamza.
Yeah.
Two programmers who fought to preserve the art of true coding.
That was a good one.
Their story is a testament to the power of passion, ingenuity, and the enduring human spirit.
Yeah, for sure.
Keep questioning, keep exploring, and keep coding.